It started with a dare. Like most teenage mistakes, it sounded harmless at first. A late-night challenge to spend 1 hour inside the Old Town Cemetery. The place was ancient, surrounded by crumbling iron gates and crooked gravestones dating back to the 1800s. No one visited anymore, not even the groundskeeper. The group of 5 teens laughed as they approached the gate with their flashlights and phone cameras ready. It was all about clout. 1 hour, record the whole thing, post it online. Easy. But something about the silence felt unnatural. Not peaceful, unnaturally quiet, like the world was holding its breath. No insects chirped. No wind rustled the trees. Even the air felt heavier. As they passed the first row of graves, one of them, Kyle, noticed a tall figure standing still near a mausoleum in the far corner. A trick of the moonlight, maybe? He blinked, and it was gone. He didn't mention it. Yet. They settled on a broken stone bench near a weeping angel statue. Jokes turned into ghost stories, and time crawled. Kyle kept glancing toward the mausoleum, sure that figure would return. Then the bench shuddered under them. Just a tremor, right? But the ground beneath their feet pulsed like something massive had just shifted underground. And that's when the temperature dropped. One of the girls, Mia, shivered violently. Her breath came out in visible mist, even though it was a warm night. Suddenly, their phones all went black at once. They laughed it off nervously. Batteries just died at the same time? Weird. But deep down, they all knew something was wrong. Because from the darkness behind the mausoleum, the figure was walking toward them. The silence shattered when branches cracked under slow, deliberate footsteps. No one spoke. They all just turned toward the mausoleum. The figure was now halfway across the cemetery, moving in a straight line. No flashlight, no sound. Just the echo of boots on dead leaves. Kyle whispered, "It's probably the groundskeeper." But the groundskeeper didn't wear a long black coat that moved like smoke, and the groundskeeper wasn't known for having a face that flickered in and out like a bad transmission. Mia took a step back, her shoes crunching gravel, and the figure stopped, just stood there, watching. One of the guys, Leo, decided to take control. "It's someone messing with us." He grabbed his phone again, trying to turn it on. Nothing. Same with the others. The batteries were fully drained, completely dead. Then they heard it. Thump, 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 from behind. They spun around to see one of the graves, a large flat stone rising, as if something beneath it was pushing it open. Dirt cracked and shifted, and from the shadows of the tomb, long pale fingers reached out, slow and deliberate, clawing at the surface. The kid screamed and ran, but Kyle didn't move. He stared, frozen, as the figure by the mausoleum raised its arm and pointed at him. Kyle's breath caught in his throat. He wasn't scared anymore. He was paralyzed. Not by fear, by something else, like invisible chains wrapped around his chest. From the open grave, a head slowly emerged, eyes open, mouth stitched shut. It looked at Kyle. It knew him. Then a whisper filled the air, carried by a voice that came from nowhere and everywhere at once. "One stays, the rest must pay."
And just like that, the others realized Kyle hadn't followed. But by the time they turned back, he was gone.
The remaining teens sprinted through the cemetery gates, gasping for breath, hearts pounding with fear. Mia turned back once, hoping, praying to see Kyle running behind them. But all she saw was the thick, creeping fog swallowing the gravestones. They made it to Leo's car, shaking, breathless, crying. No one spoke until they were miles away. When they finally stopped in the town outskirts, Mia broke the silence. "We have to go back." But Leo shook his head. "No, he's gone." That night, none of them slept, and every night after they were haunted. Leo woke up to muddy footprints in his room, prints that started from under his bed and led to his closet. Sarah's mirror fogged up every morning with the words, "Why did you leave me?" Mia heard Kyle's voice whisper her name through her phone, even when it was off. Desperate and broken, the three returned to the cemetery after a week, but the place was different, cleaner, emptier, and the mausoleum sealed shut as if it had never been opened. Then Mia saw it, a fresh gravestone that hadn't been there before. Kyle. One stayed, the rest must pay. She dropped to her knees. The earth was undisturbed, as if he had been buried long ago. Suddenly, the wind stopped, the trees stilled. The graveyard seemed to exhale, and from the shadows of the tallest monument, the Watcher appeared, its black coat twisting in an unfelt breeze. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. They understood. This wasn't over. It had only begun. The Watcher chooses. It waits. And when night falls on the living, it calls for those who owe. Kyle stayed behind, but the debt is never paid in full. I work as a part-time groundskeeper at a small municipal cemetery just outside of town. Nothing fancy, just a few acres, a maintenance shed, and an old chapel that no one uses anymore. I started this job last summer after my uncle, who's worked here for over a decade, put in a word for me. It was supposed to be easy money while I finished night classes. But there's one thing every worker here knows and never jokes about. Lot 9. It's a corner plot near the northwest edge of the grounds, right next to the tree line. My uncle warned me the first week, casually, like he was trying not to make a big deal out of it. If you're doing rounds after dark, just don't go near Lot 9. Stay on the gravel path and keep your head down. I laughed at first, thought he was messing with the new guy. But he didn't laugh back. We don't bury anyone there anymore, not since the thing with the Daniels boy. I didn't ask. The night shifts were usually uneventful. Just me, a flashlight, and the sounds of crickets and distant cars. I brought headphones sometimes, listened to music while raking leaves or locking up the chapel. But last Thursday, everything changed. Around 2:30 a.m., I was finishing my sweep and walking past Section 7 when I heard what sounded like talking. Faint, but definitely voices. I turned off my music and listened. It was coming from the direction of Lot 9. I thought maybe one of the other workers had stayed late, or maybe kids had snuck in. It wouldn't be the first time. So I took the flashlight and started toward the tree line. The closer I got, the quieter the voices became. Not because they were fading. It was more like they were
muffling themselves the nearer I came. When I reached the edge of Lot 9, everything went completely still. No voices, no crickets, no wind, just silence. Then my flashlight flickered and died. I stood frozen for what felt like a full minute before I heard it. A whisper, close to my ear. "You're not supposed to be here." I spun around, but no one was there. I didn't run. I don't know why. Something about the air felt heavy, like it was waiting for me to react. So I just walked away slowly, never turning back. The next morning, my uncle called me. "You went to Lot 9, didn't you?" I never told him, but he knew.
After what happened that night, I thought maybe I imagined it. The whisper, the silence, the flashlight dying. I didn't tell anyone at first. I even convinced myself that maybe my battery just ran out, or that my brain was playing tricks on me. Night shifts can mess with your senses. But then things started getting weird at home. That next evening, I was sitting in my room, scrolling through my phone, when I heard something, faint and crackly, coming from my headphones. I wasn't playing anything at the time. They were just plugged in. It was a voice, muffled, whispering. I pulled the headphones off and tossed them on the desk, heart pounding. For a second, I thought I had just imagined it again. But when I picked them back up, they were dead quiet. No static, no sound. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something followed me from Lot 9. The next night, I skipped my shift, called in and said I was sick. My uncle didn't ask questions, but I could tell from his tone that he knew. It wasn't the kind of silence that meant, "Get better soon." It was the kind that says, "You invited it." Then came the nightmares. They weren't just bad dreams. They felt real, vivid, intense. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, always from the same scene. I was standing in Lot 9, surrounded by graves, and all of them were whispering. Not moaning, whispering, like they were telling secrets I couldn't quite hear. But the worst part, in every dream, someone was standing behind me, breathing slow, watching. I never turned around. One night, I finally gave in and asked my uncle, "What happened with the Daniels boy?" He didn't speak right away, just lit a cigarette with shaky fingers and said, "He was just like you, didn't listen, heard voices, went to Lot 9, and found him sitting between the graves talking to someone that wasn't there. Took 5 people to pull him out. He never spoke again. They say he still whispers in his sleep." I haven't gone back to work since, but sometimes at night I still hear it, that voice, soft and slow, just behind me. "You're not supposed to be here." It's been a week since I heard the whisper behind me. I've done everything. Salt by the windows, prayers from a co-worker's grandmother, even burned sage from some shop downtown. I haven't stepped foot back near the cemetery, especially Lot 9. But last night, something changed. I was alone in the living room around 2 a.m., trying to distract myself with a movie. The window behind me was slightly open, just to let in the cool air. At some point, I paused the film because I swore I heard something. Not a whisper this time. Not inside my head. It was a tap. Then another. I muted everything and sat there,
heart climbing into my throat. Then the voice returned, not in my ears, not in the room, but right outside the window. "You left the gate open." I slammed the window shut and locked it. Curtains drawn, lights on. I didn't sleep that night. This morning, I visited the cemetery one last time. I had to see it. I brought my uncle. We didn't say much, just walked through the main path until we reached the gate to Lot 9. It was open. The lock was dangling, snapped clean off like it had been twisted apart. "You didn't do this?" I asked. My uncle just stared. "I haven't been here since your mother's funeral." We stood there, neither of us willing to take another step. That's when I noticed the grass in Lot 9. It was flattened in a circular path, like something had been walking in loops between the graves, over and over. That was it. I was done. We turned back. But as we reached the car, I made the mistake of looking back, just once, and I swear to God, someone was standing there, in the middle of Lot 9. Not a caretaker, not a visitor. Something tall, pale. Its arms were just a little too long. It wasn't moving, just watching. I don't know what it wants, but if you're ever on a night shift near a cemetery and someone tells you about Lot 9, never open the gate. Never listen to the whisper. And for God's sake, never look back.